For 50 years, the galaxy had believed Earth was finished. After the first invasion, Earth had gone silent. No signals, no ships, no answers. The Galactic Council marked the human homeworld as broken. A once proud world, now left in ashes. Alien empires moved on, claiming Earth's old colonies to them. Humans were just a warning in history books, bold, reckless, and now extinct. Then, everything changed with a message, one short signal, sent on all known frequencies. Translated in every galactic language, spoken in a calm human voice, deep and full of steel. To the galactic powers, the voice said, "Attack Earth again and be annihilated." That was it. No name, no identity, no origin, traceable, just silence after the words. At first, the council laughed. Some believed it was a pirate's joke, others said it was an AI glitch from an old probe, but then the message repeated once every hour for 3 days straight. Every planet, every outpost, every warship in the galaxy received it. Even the Korthok Empire, proud rulers of 8 systems, couldn't block it. Their ships began malfunctioning whenever they tried to jam the frequency. Something had embedded the message into the very fabric of subspace. The fear began quietly, like a shadow crawling across a sunlit floor. Counselor Dreven of the Avark species was the first to speak seriously. He had survived the first invasion. He had seen human warships destroy fleets 3 times their size. He remembered the humans didn't fight with just weapons, they fought with fury, and now they were quiet again. That was the most terrifying part. But Chancellor Krivok, a powerful voice from the Trelkon Dominion, dismissed the fear. There. Bluffing, he growled. If Earth had real power left, they would have shown it. Not sent a whisper, so the council agreed on a test. They would send a scout ship, just one. Its mission was simple. Enter Earth's system, record activity, and return. Easy, safe, and silent. The ship was called Veltron Ikes, stealth-coded, equipped with the best shielding. Crewed by elite observers from 5 different species, they entered the Sol system with cameras ready and weapons cold. They passed to Neptune. Then Uranus, then Saturn. Everything seemed empty. No defense stations, no active satellites, no patrols. They joked on the comms. Maybe the humans really are gone. One pilot laughed, another replied. Or maybe they're hiding behind their moon. They reached Jupiter and suddenly, silence. All signals from Veltronix vanished. No alarms, no distress calls, nothing, at first. The council waited. They assumed it was a technical failure. But then, a small fragment returned, just one black box, floating alone in space. It had been ejected manually, as if someone on board knew they were going to die. The data it held was short, only 5 seconds of audio. Soft humming sound that grew louder, followed by a low growl metal tearing. Then silence again. No explosion, no screams, just silence. Scientists tried to analyze the hum. It wasn't a known weapon. It wasn't even fully physicalite. Had strange energy readings no one understood. Worse, the metal from the black box had changed.
Oh.
It had melted and reformed like soft clay, even in vacuum, even under shielding. Now the laughter stopped. Now even Krivok stayed silent in meetings. They held an emergency session. Was this the warning Earth gave? Was Veltronix their answer? If Earth truly had weapons that didn't obey the known laws of physics, then this was no bluff. Across the galaxy, news channels blared the message again. Attack Earth again and be annihilated. It echoed in war rooms, council halls, and children's dreams. Even pirate clans and black market traders stopped approaching the Sol system. Back on Earth, no one said a word. No official claim, no second message, only silence. As if the humans were watching, waiting, and ready, the stars had never been so quiet. Whoa. And for the first time in centuries, the galaxy feared a world they had thought was gone. Earth wasn't broken. Earth was warning them. It wasn't a cry for help. It was a promise of destruction. Jupiter floated like a giant god in space, clouds swirling, storms forever spinning. And just beyond its orbit, the scout ship Veltronix vanished. One moment it was reporting clear space, the next nothing, no signal, no light. No sound, just gone. The Galactic Council waited, nervous but pretending to be calm. After 6 hours, they sent a message, no reply. After 12, they sent a ping, still silence. It wasn't until a small transport drone stumbled across something that the truth began to surface. The drone found a black box, burned, dented, but still transmitting a weak signal. It was floating slowly near Ganymede, one of Jupiter's moons. The Council's recovery team brought it back. Scientists from 10 different species worked together. To open it, inside were recordings from Veltron X. Only 5 seconds of footage survived. The screen showed a calm view of space. Jupiter's surface in the background, then a shadow moved across the stars too fast to track. A low hum filled the audio, then the entire screen flickered white. There was no explosion, just light and then nothing. The hum was unlike anything known in the galaxy. It wasn't mechanical or plasma-based, it felt alive. Engineers tried to recreate it in a lab. Every time they did, their machines overheated and shut down. One computer even melted from the inside. Whispers started to spread. Some said Earth had created a weapon that used sound to erase energy fields.
Oh, dare.
Others believed it was an AI defense system, buried in Jupiter's orbit. A few even claimed the humans had turned Jupiter itself into a trap. But none of that explained what happened next. The outer layer of the black box began to change. It was made of a rare alien, alloy stronger than steel. But now it pulsed like skin, soft and warm. The scientists touched it, and it pulled away. Like it didn't want to be touched. That was when panic truly began. This wasn't a weapon, they realized. It was something more. Something alive. The council called an emergency meeting inside the high chamber. Voices clashed. We must send. Another ship, one shouted. Are you mad? Replied another. The first was erased without a trace. They are hiding something, Chancellor Krevok said, slamming his fist. This is not human technology. But Councillor Drevin stood slowly, his face pale, his long fingers trembling. I was there during the last war with Earth, he whispered. I saw what they did to the Brelock Armada. He pointed at the footage. This is not new tech. This is evolution. That word sent silence through the chamber. Evolution, humans, had always been fast learners, but this was something else. This was terror perfected outside the chambers. Regular people across the galaxy began to fear Earth again. Stories resurfaced. Legends of Earth's final stand during the first invasion. How human engineers had turned city ruins into war machines. How they fought even when outnumbered 10-1. And how they disappeared afterward into silence. Now, the silence had ended. And it started with Jupiter, back on Earth, deep under the ocean floor. A massive circular chamber lit up. Inside were dormant machines, black and silver, each one with markings in old human languages. The hum that destroyed Veltron the Ninth had come from here. Not a weapon, but a call. It had sensed a hostile presence in orbit, and responded instantly. No one had given it a command. It simply did what it was designed to do. Protect Earth, no matter the cost. At the center of this forgotten place stood a woman in a black uniform. She watched data flow across ancient screens. She did not smile. She only nodded once. They heard the message, she whispered. They didn't believe it. She turned to a silent AI core beside her. Begin stage 2, she said. Let them feel our silence again. The AI responded in a soft voice. Stage 2 initiated across the Sol system. Long dead satellites blinked to life. Old Earth colonies once believed destroyed activated distress beacons. But they weren't calling for help. They were broadcasting a warning no one could stop, not even the Galactic Council. Each signal carried the same message in thousands of languages. Human voice, calm and steady, saying, we gave you one chance. Do not make us repeat ourselves. And somewhere, beyond Pluto's orbit, a massive ship began to wake up. It had no name, no crew, only one directive. If provoked, annihilate. The stars no longer looked peaceful, and the galaxy finally realized Earth had not been sleeping, Earth had been preparing. The Council's fear grew faster than their understanding. They had lost contact with Veltron X. They had seen the footage. They had heard the warning. But they still had no idea what Earth truly hid. Far beyond the moon, behind shadows of rock and forgotten satellites, something began to move. Long, black shapes, resting for over 100 years. Now stirred in silence, no lights, no beacons, only a soft, hum-like breathing metal. This was not Earth's military. This was not even known by most humans alive today. These were relics of the old war, ships built in secret, stored in silence. Built, not to fight, but to disappear, evolve, and return when needed. And now, they were waking up. The first ship to rise from the dark was named Leviathan. Its hull was older than any current Earth model. But its core, rebuilt by AI engineers over decades, was more advanced than anything the galaxy had seen. It drifted silently from its hiding place. Scanning the stars with cold blue eyes, behind it came more: Tombfire, Judgment, Ray, Black Winter, and Silencer. Each ship was the size of a city, each one powered by dark matter fusion, a technology banned by the Galactic Accord. And Earth had built not one but dozens. Earth's ghost fleet had returned, hidden for years in deep asteroid belts, moon craters, and artificial void pockets. These ships had never been deployed during the first invasion. They were the last option, the final line, humanity's insurance policy. Now, they were forming up silently near Neptune. No engines roaring, no transmissions sent. They didn't need orders. The threat had arrived, and their programming activated. The Galactic Council finally saw the truth when one of their probes caught sight of Tombfire. It was cloaked but not completely invisible, just enough to give the galaxy one look, one warning. The probe's footage spread across every known system in hours. It showed a black pyramid-shaped ship floating near Neptune's rings. Its surface shifted like oil. It emitted no heat, no radiation, nothing that made sense, and carved on its hull. In deep, glowing letters were the words, "Do not follow, do not forget." The panic was immediate. Markets crashed, shipping routes froze. Military leaders in a dozen empires demanded answers, but no one had them on Earth. The government gave no statements. The United Human Directorate simply activated protocol silence. No messages, no clarifications, no responses. Let the galaxy wonder. Let them fear. Inside a hidden control room beneath the Antarctic ice, old command officers reviewed Ghost Fleet data. Captain Myra Sloan, retired 30 years ago, stood once again at the command table. Her hand hovered over the ancient screen as data scrolled. "Just like we planned," she whispered. "Every ship accounted for." Beside her, a younger officer asked, "Do we move them closer to Earth?" Mira shook her head. "No, let them orbit where they are. That the galaxy's going to stare. Let them look into the abyss, back in space." The Ghost Fleet did not blink. It moved in slow, perfect formation, like a predator showing its teeth. Without needing to bite it, each ship had its own AI mind. Each mind had waited, watched, learned. And each one now calculated all possible attack routes into the Sol system, every wormhole, jump gate, or stealth corridor. They were marked, mapped, and aimed at. One wrong move, and they would fire. And no one truly knew what they were armed with. Theories spread. Some said gravity bombs, some said neutron storms. Others believed the ships could rewrite reality on contact. No one knew, and that was the weapon, the fear of the unknown. The galaxy had always feared what it could not control. Now it faced what it could not understand. A small fleet from the Zalaran Empire tried to scan Leviathan the moment their sensors touched its hull. Their ships went dark, not destroyed, just empty. All systems wiped, all memory lost. The crews survived. But their minds were blank, as if the ships had reached inside and turned off their thoughts. That incident was enough. The Galactic Council declared Earth's territory off limits. A full blockade was announced. Do not approach Sol system, but deep down, everyone knew it was not to protect Earth, it was to protect themselves. Because something had returned from the dark, something old, something angry, and something human. The Ghost Fleet had no mercy. It had no diplomats, no negotiators. It was built for one thing, only final judgment. And now, it waited. Not for orders, but for a reason. The Galactic Council chamber had never been this loud. The Great Hall, shaped like a spinning disk above the blue star of Varlin Prime, shook with shouting voices. Leaders from 200 species argued, pointed, and screamed over one another. Holographic footage of Earth's ghost fleet floated in the center. Each time it replayed, silence would return if only for a moment. Then more fear, more anger, more chaos. Chancellor Krivak slammed his clawed fist on the table. This is a threat. He roared. They destroyed Veltronix. They attacked our probe fleet. And now they parade their monsters in the dark. Counselor Drevin of the Avark species stood slowly, calm but pale. They did not attack us, Chancellor, he said. We entered their system without permission. The warning was clear. Warnings mean nothing without action. Krivak shouted, they are bluffing, hiding behind fear. If we show strength, they will bend. An older counselor, a three-eyed diplomat from the Zalari Order, spoke with trembling lips. Do you remember what humans did during the Braylock War? She asked. They burned entire fleets with just 6 ships, and then they vanished. Another screen appeared, showing the black ship Tombfire. Its strange pyramid form pulsing with light that twisted physics around it. Ships that approached it no longer behaved normally. Some floated backwards, others aged decades in seconds. One even reappeared in a star system 200 light-years, away, shattered and empty. These are not ships, said Counselor Thal of the Kreen Republic. They are warnings carved from nightmares. Still, Chancellor Krivak would not back down. He stood in the center of the hall, pointing at Earth's image. If we let this stand, we invite terror across the galaxy. No species should hold this kind of power, especially not humans. They are a war species, born for chaos. Murmurs of agreement rose from his supporters, old enemies of Earth, traitors who lost colonies in the first invasion, and species who feared human unpredictability. But there were others, silent and watching. The younger empires, those who had never fought Earth, but had studied their history. They knew humanity wasn't just powerful, they were different. Unpredictable, creative, and dangerous. Counselor Vara of the Mokari people stood slowly, her silver skin shining under the chamber lights. We must understand something, she said. Earth did not send these ships to attack, they revealed. Them only after we invaded their silence. They have shown restraint and destroyed a scout ship without a trace. Krivak growled. Is that restraint to you? Counselor Vara did not flinch. They could have destroyed the Council's central relay, could have vaporized our science fleet, but they didn't. Erased a single ship and sent a message. Krivak paced, furious, there. Manipulating us through fear, he hissed. We cannot bow to ghosts. Then the lights in the council chamber dimmed. A sound echoed soft and clear. It was Earth's voice again. A live transmission, not recorded. It played in every counselor's earpiece. Translated in real time, the voice was human, calm, deep, male. You have ignored the warning. It said you have sent another probe fleet into our system. There will be no second warning. Gasps echoed across the hall. The probe fleet had just left. How did Earth already know? No official record had been transmitted yet, but Earth already saw them, within seconds. New footage appeared in the central holoscreen. It showed the probe fleet 12 small ships approaching the edge of Pluto's orbit. Then black shapes appeared behind them, one by one. Each probe shut down mid-flight. No explosions, no interference, just power loss. A single symbol flashed on each of their screens before failure. An ancient human mark, a circle inside a triangle, crossed by a single red line. The meaning was clear: do not return. Krivak stood frozen, his mouth moved, but no sound. Then came the final message from Earth. This is not a war declaration, the voice said. This is a final line. Cross it, and your civilizations will fall. Stay away, and you will be left in peace. The transmission ended, and the chamber fell into pure silence. Some counselors wept, others sat with heads down. No one knew what to say. Then Counselor Drevin rose again. This is not the old Earth, said. This is something new. They do not shout. They do not beg. Speak once and act once. Counselor Vara nodded. They do not want war, but they are prepared for it in ways we cannot understand. At last, a decision was made, not from strength, but from survival. The Council voted to issue a decree. Earth's system is now a no-fly zone. All contact with the Sol system is forbidden. Violation will be considered suicide, but deep inside, everyone knew it was not the Council in control anymore. It was Earth, and Earth had spoken. The Council had voted. A no-fly zone around Earth was declared. But not everyone agreed. Some empires whispered behind closed doors. They believed Earth was bluffing, that humanity's silence was just a trick to gain fear and control. So without the Council's approval, a secret fleet was formed. They called it the Third Fleet. Made of ships from 5 powerful houses, each hungry for proof, they painted it as a peace mission. But everyone knew it was bait. Test. To see if Earth would really follow through, 30 advanced warships jumped into the edge of the Sol system. Led by the dreadnought Gravemind, a monster of metal from the Vornok Empire. The plan was simple. Get close to Earth, record their defenses, and leave if nothing happened. The bluff would be exposed if something did. They would be ready, or so they thought, as the fleet passed Neptune. They saw nothing. No ships, no weapons, no signals. Their systems worked perfectly. No interference, no alarms. Some of the crew even laughed. Ghost fleet, they said. More like ghost stories. But then they reached the orbit of Pluto. That's when the stars began to dim. One by one, their sensors shut off. Not from attack, but like the universe itself was hiding. All light around them began to shift. Time stretched. Voices echoed strangely through coms. Pilots felt sick, disoriented, unable to tell left from right. The lead ship's AI sent out a pulse scan. The data it returned made no sense. Millions of contacts, none recognizable. Suddenly, shapes emerged. Not from ahead, but from behind, above, below, all directions at once. Earth's ghost fleet had surrounded them, but they hadn't come through warp. They had been there the entire time, cloaked in ways science could not explain. The humans did not send a warning. They sent a single burst of data too fast to read. It hit every ship in the Third Fleet at once, and in less than 1 second, all 30 ships froze. Engines stopped, lights went dark, crew fell silent. One officer managed to scream, "It's inside the ship." Inside our minds. Then static. Back on the edge of Council territory, relay stations picked up a final transmission, a video feed, shaky, blurred, terrifying. The screen showed the inside of the Gravemind, lights flashing, alarms blaring, officers floating lifeless in zero gravity. Then the camera turned toward the forward window, and there it appeared, a massive ship, larger than a city. Its surface shifted like liquid metal. Symbols glowed on its Helleniant, unknown, almost alive. The image flickered. And the last thing broadcast was a single word, carved into the stars by beams of energy. Enough. Then silence. Not just from the fleet, but from space itself. All signals from the Sol system vanished. The Council watched in horror. Even Chancellor Krivak could no longer speak. The Third Fleet had been the best of their kind now. They were gone. No wreckage. No debris. Just gone. 1 week later, pieces of the ships began to appear. Not floating in space, but delivered. Carefully placed near Council planets, each piece bore no burn marks, no signs of damage, but each one was twisted, reformed into impossible shapes. Like someone had folded the metal by hand, inside one whole fragment was a simple message. No voice, no threat, just written text. Your third mistake was your last. Across the galaxy, panic turned to fear, and fear turned to surrender. All travel toward Earth was stopped. Every jump gate within 50 light-years of Sol was sealed. Even pirates and scavengers fled. No one dared approach the silence again. Earth had shown not just power, but control. They could erase fleets without firing a weapon. They could manipulate metal. Time, even thought, and worst of all, no one could understand how, inside the Council, meetings turned into funerals. No one celebrated. Even Earth's enemies now understood. This was not a bluff. It had never been. In secret corners of the galaxy, rebel leaders burned their old maps. Planets once marked for invasion were now left untouched and in the dark halls of forgotten. Ruins, the name Earth became wholly feared, respected, untouchable. Some called them monsters. Others called them gods. But one thing was now clear. Humanity was no longer part of the galaxy. They had become something else, something bigger, something terrifying and still. Earth remained silent. The galaxy held its breath. After the destruction of the Third Fleet, no one dared speak against Earth. No empire, no pirate clan. No trade house. The Sol system was now a shadow zone, a place of silence and fear. But silence couldn't last forever. Everyone waited for Earth to speak again. Was this the start of war? Would humanity march outward with their ghost fleet? Weeks passed, then months. The Council feared that Earth's silence was the calm before a storm. They built defenses, added guards to jump gates. They even created emergency plans for entire planets to evacuate, but Earth didn't attack. They didn't even move. Their ships remained in deep orbit, still and watchful. No new threats. No more strange messages. Only that same quiet hum across deep space channels. Then just when the tension reached its peak, Earth sent a signal. This time, it was different. Not a warning, not a threat, but a speech. It played across every system, translated instantly on every world, every station. Every ship screens blinked on, and a human appeared. It was a woman, older, dressed in black. Standing before a window that showed Earth from space, her voice was soft, but each word echoed with power to the galactic powers. She said, "We are the children of Earth. We warned you once, because we hoped you would listen. But you did not." She turned slightly. The window behind her shifted to show the ruins of Veltrin Ix. "Your fleet entered our home uninvited. Ready to test us?" she continued. "We passed your test." She stepped closer to the screen. "Earth has not been sleeping," she said. "For 200 years, we rebuilt. Not just our weapons, but ourselves. You see ships?" She said, "But they are not weapons. They are guardians." The screen changed again, showing Earth's ghost fleet floating silently over Neptune. "They do not wait for orders," she said. "They wait for justice." Then came a moment of stillness. Her eyes locked with the camera, and she said something no one expected. "We do not seek war. We do not wish to rule. We only ask this leave us alone. If you enter our skies again, we will not answer." There will be no broadcast, no reply, only silence. The video paused, and then showed a list of coordinates, each one marked systems. That Earth now claimed as sovereign, not for conquest, but protection. Some were old Earth colonies, forgotten by the galaxy. Others were uninhabited systems, now marked with a single word, reserved. The woman's voice returned. "These are ours," she said. "They belong to the children of Earth. Respect this boundary, and we will never speak again." And just like that, the message ended. No signature, no name, no reply line, just silence. But it was not the silence of fear. It was the silence of a door closing across the galaxy. Reactions were mixed. Some leaders felt relieved it wasn't war. Others felt insulted. Earth didn't negotiate, didn't ask, just declared it, but no one dared challenge it, because now they believed on the dark moon of Telos. A warlord named Garrick slammed his fist into a table. "We were once gods to these humans," he hissed. "Now they speak to us like we're ants." One of his commanders whispered, "Then why do you tremble when they speak?" On the peaceful world of Minari, children gathered in temples to hear the Earth broadcast replayed. To them, humans were not monsters. They were legends. The defenders of their own kind, silent and strong. Trade stations adjusted their maps, navigation. Software now rerouted all ships around the Sol Zone. Warning signs blinked on every star chart. "Do not enter Earth territory." Even smugglers obeyed, not out of law but fear, and in the council chambers. For the first time in recorded history, no one dared argue. The decree was passed silently. Earth's sovereignty will not be questioned. In secret, diplomats tried to send peace messages to Earth. Hoping to build quiet communication, each message received the same reply: no words. Just a simple icon, a glowing circle inside a triangle, crossed with a red line. Do not enter, do not speak, do not test us on Earth far below its surface. Inside an ancient command vault, the woman from the message stood quietly. Beside her, a young girl asked, "Will they leave us alone now?" The woman smiled gently. "For now," she whispered, "but if they forget again." She turned toward the screen where the stars shimmered. "We will remind them." The stars looked the same, bright, beautiful, endless, but for the galaxy, everything had changed. Trade routes were redrawn, wormholes were rerouted, maps updated with thick red lines around Sol system. Planets near Earth's borders were abandoned. Stations left empty, silent like ghost towns. The message was clear: do not disturb Earth, and yet Earth never attacked. They didn't send ships beyond their claimed zone. They didn't respond to messages or provoke anyone. They just watched. That was the most terrifying part. The silence. Across the galaxy, stories of Earth spread like fire, tales of the ghost. Fleet ships that could erase time, rumors of weapons that melted thoughts, legends of black ships that folded space with a whisper. No one knew the truth because Earth told no one. And mystery became their greatest weapon in the schools of the Yalari sector. Children were taught a new subject: human history. They studied Earth's rise, fall, and return, teachers warned. If you ever hear a human say nothing, run. On mining colonies, workers carved Earth's warning into metal walls. Attack again, and be annihilated. It became a prayer, a curse, and a rule. Even the great empires began to change. They lowered their weapons, cut military budgets. They feared awakening something they couldn't stop. The era of arrogance was over. Now came the era of caution. Some called it peace, but it was fear, wrapped in silence, inside Earth's own borders. Things were quiet but not forgotten. The ghost fleet floated in deep orbit, still watching. AI minds scanned the galaxy every second. Every pulse, every signal, every ship movement was recorded. Earth wasn't paranoid. Earth was prepared, deep beneath the crust of Mars, in an underground command vault. Old captains and young commanders trained side by side, not for war, but for the moment. A moment that might never come, or could arrive in a whisper. Human engineers continued to work, not on weapons of mass destruction, but weapons of final destruction. Things that couldn't just destroy planets, but erase systems, fold time, tear dimensions, not because they wanted war, but because they refused to be victims ever again. Back in the council chambers, debates began. Not about fighting Earth, but about surviving Earth's presence. Should they build stronger alliances? Should they copy human tech? Should they beg for trade? But every envoy they sent to Sol returned with nothing, or didn't return at all, because Earth had made it simple: respect us, or disappear. Over time, some began to admire humans, not just for their strength, but for what they chose not to do. They could have ruled the galaxy, burned the stars, enslaved entire races. But they didn't. They just stood at their border, guardians of silence, protectors of their home. And that scared the galaxy more than any weapon ever could. Years passed, and still no ship dared cross into Earth's zone. No one tested the ghost fleet again. No one searched for the source of their strange technology. But in the darkest corners of the galaxy, some still plotted old enemies, forgotten warlords, power-hungry leaders, they whispered. Maybe Earth can be broken. Maybe their silence is weakness. But those whispers died quickly, because Earth was always listening. And one night, across 5 systems, every screen lit up at once. No voice, no message, no image, just one symbol, the glowing circle inside a triangle, crossed with a red line, a warning, a reminder: we are still here. On Earth, life continued. People walked their cities, watched their skies. The stars above were quiet, and for once humanity was not at war, not because the galaxy had changed, but because humans had. They had become more than warriors. They had become legends, a symbol of what happens when you push too far. When you underestimate a species that refuses to die. In the great archive of the Galactic Council, one entry remained untouched by time. It read, "Humanity, formerly Class 3 species status, do not engage, known capabilities, unknown, threat level, undefined, final contact message, attack again, and be annihilated." And so the galaxy moved forward, not through trust, not through peace, but through fear. A future reshaped by silence and forever defined by Earth.